Hello, I'm Vince Sims. Thanks for joining us for this Community Conversations. Today we are joined by Dr. Irvin Seamster, who is the president of Southwestern Christian College. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Let's first of all learn a little bit more about you. Dr. Seamster, who are you?
Well, I'm a native of Shreveport, Louisiana. I went to Booker T. Washington High School, but I graduated from Southwood High School, played high school basketball in Shreveport. And from there, I received a basketball scholarship to attend Southwestern Christian College and stayed there. I graduated 2 years later and injured my knee, and so couldn't really play basketball like I knew I could, you know, with a damaged knee. And so I asked at the time, the president or vice president if they would offer me a scholarship so I could return to continue my studies there at Southwestern. They offered me a scholarship, an academic scholarship, and I continued to study there at Southwestern for another 2.5 years. And so I graduated with a bachelor's degree in Bible from Southwestern in '87. In '88, I went to Southern Methodist University. I studied at Perkins School of Theology here in Dallas, Texas.
Let's talk a little bit more about Southwestern. Tell us about this school.
Oh man, it's a wonderful school. It was we purchased a military base in 1948. In 1949, we opened for our first class started in 1949 in the city of Terrell, Texas. And now the school originally started in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and from Fort Smith, Arkansas, it moved to Fort Worth, Texas, and then to its present location in Terrell, Texas. And so this is our 75th anniversary in Terrell, Texas. So wow. I guess that's our diamond anniversary, I guess. Yes.
So this is interesting. A lot of people may not even realize that there is this school there, the Southwestern Christian College there, and this is a HBCU,
yes, sir.
Black college.
Yes, sir. We are one of the 101 HBCUs, historically black colleges and or universities in America. And so we just received reaffirmation for accreditation for another 10 years in 2022. So we're really, really excited about that. And we just look forward to just continue to make an impact in Kaufman County, in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and in the United States. And now we just received our I-20 status, so now we can recruit international students. So hopefully we can have a worldwide impact.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You just mentioned the accreditation that was just given out. So what was that like to, be reaccredited and to gain that?
Oh, you're making me relive that. Huh? Well, we are accredited by SACCOC. It's Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. It's based in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a regional accrediting body. And SMU, University of Texas A&M, all of those schools and universities are managed or accredited by SACS. And so we went through that process, and I came in 2017, and we had 48 areas of noncompliance. And so we had to work through 48 areas of noncompliance, and we got those down to 15, then to 10, to 5, to 2, and then we just finished. We knocked those last 2 off, which were financial sustainability and the management of our cash resources. And so we were fully accredited in 2022.
And how important is that, the accreditation, especially for an HBCU?
That's important for HBCUs, especially, but for all schools, because if you're not accredited, then the students that are matriculating at your college or university, their hours won't transfer to other schools. So being fully accredited by accrediting body like SACCOC, that means that when our students graduate, all of their hours transfer to the next level of education.
I want to go back a little bit to your journey. What is it like to have gone to this school, got your degree there, and now you're sitting as the president of this college?
Surreal. just real like, what am I doing? So what do I do? Well, it's really a great opportunity. It's a blessing to be able to give back to an institution that poured so much into you. And so Southwestern, it was a place where I learned that I could do more than play basketball. It was a place where I learned that I could think. I could be a critical thinker. I learned that I could be a public speaker. I learned that I could organize people and events. And so I used all of those experiences gained from Southwestern, and I'm using them in other areas of my life, and I've been quite successful at it. So I'm grateful to God that Southwestern made that impact on my life.
Mm-hmm. Your journey, has there been any challenges that you faced? Have there been any unique things you had to overcome getting to this point?
You mean in life or as president?
As president.
As president.
As president, yes, sir.
Well, yes, I had some unique challenges. One is I followed a president who was the longest serving president in post-secondary education history. So Dr. Jack Evans Sr. Served as president from 1967 to 2016. So 49 years he served as president, and he did an incredible job. And so following a legend, a living legend, everybody is comparing your leadership style to his leadership style. Mm-hmm. He has some unique gifts and graces. He was an amazing debater. He was an amazing writer, speaker. He was an amazing debater. And so at the time that he served as president, all of those gifts and graces that he brought to our fellowship and to our institution, they were great. But I bring a different set of gifts and graces. I have a business background, a theological background, and so I bring that to bear, construction background. So the things that were necessary for us to get through the accreditation process and to rebuild our infrastructure and to move us forward, the gifts and graces God blessed me with, are really helpful as we move forward at this point in our history.
Right. Now we can talk a little bit about with the life challenges, because I want people to understand, you're the sitting president of this college,
yes,
but you were talking about, I was doing a little research, that you maybe not have been the best student before getting to college, or teachers didn't expect much from you.
I thought you were going to ask me the 2 questions.
I was just
at the time, I was just really just focusing on athletics, on basketball, and I just, I'm on my way to the NBA. I don't have to take this college stuff seriously. Mm-hmm. I'll be out of here in a minute and go on to Baylor or some other schools that were looking at me. And but I was in class, and there was a professor by the name of Mary Simmons, and she asked to speak to me after class. And I said, what is she up to? And she said, son, I noticed that you're not really, paying attention, but you are mumbling the answers under your breath. She said, you are really intelligent. Why don't you focus more? And she said, if you want to play basketball this semester and next semester, you need to get serious about your studies. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time somebody embraced my intelligence. And it set me on another trajectory, academic trajectory, not an athletic trajectory. And it changed my life. And so going from a below average student to an above average student to a straight A student, I mean, it was just a life-changing moment. And that was the decisive time and conversation that I had that changed my trajectory in life.
Mm-hmm. And does that influence you now as president of the university, of the college, and what you instill in the students?
Great question. Because with that experience, I understand now that all of our young people can learn. They just need the motivation, they need the encouragement, they need the support system, they need the right environment to learn. They need to be in an environment where their intelligence is taken for granted, their beauty is taken for granted, their morality is taken for granted. They don't have to go they don't have to come to Southwestern, other HBCUs, and prove that they're intelligent, prove that they're moral, prove that they're beautiful. We take that for granted at Southwestern, and those things were taken for granted for me, and it changed my life, and I believe it can change the lives of young people across racial lines, across economic lines.
Let's talk a little bit more about the importance of HBCUs like yours.
Well, they are important because, one, as I just stated, they take for granted. They just assume that you're intelligent. You don't have to go in and prove that. You don't get those little remarks like, well, maybe this is not the right course for you. You know, we believe that if you have the right instruction, if you have the right environment, if it's a healthy environment, you can learn. And that's what HBCUs do uniquely. And I think they do that as well as any other institution. And while we only make up 3% of the colleges and universities in the United States, we graduate 40% of all four-year degrees, graduates with four-year degrees. We produce most of the engineers, most of the black doctors, dentists, engineers, politicians. Most of them graduate from HBCUs, and we're very, very proud of that. Very proud of that.
And Southwestern is a little bit unique. I mean, it is a Christian college, but like the backing of it and the church that supports it.
Yeah, well, we're mostly supported by Black Churches of Christ, but we seek gifts and donations from other groups, and hopefully a very, very, very generous donor, corporate donor, will take a look at this interview, and they'll say, hey, maybe we should take a look at Southwestern Christian College. Typically, when corporations, companies invest in HBCUs, they go for the low-hanging fruit, or they go for the gusto, they go for the Howards and the Spelmans and the Morehouses, and they forget about the smaller HBCUs that still do great work, but they don't have the national reputation as some of the largest schools. At Southwestern, for instance, the person that invented the cordless telephone graduated from Southwestern Christian College. Really? In fact, the person who was Dr. King's attorney and Rosa Parks' attorney during the Montgomery bus boycott, Dr. Fred Gray, he served as chairman of the board. The greatest literary scholar who's produced the most books, who's written the most books, is Dr. Lifa Santea Nubia. He teaches at Temple University. He's written over 110 books. He's a graduate of Southwestern Christian College. And we have the longest serving president in the history of post-secondary education, and Dr. Jack Evans, who's also a graduate of Southwestern Christian College. So we're very proud of that history, and just amazing people have matriculated and graduated from that small school in Terrell, Texas.
That is awesome. So if people want to find out more about Southwestern Christian College, how do they go about doing that?
Yes, sir.
Along?
Thank you for asking. They can go to our website, www.southwesternchristiancollege.edu.
And before we wrap up, I'll let you go ahead and talk a little bit more, because outside of that, you are a pastor. You do have a church. You can share that with us.
Yes, sir. I'm the proud pastor of Light of the World Church of Christ. This is our 25th year. It's our silver anniversary. And I tell people I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. And so we invite you to come out and be with us. We worship from 10 a.m. to about 11:15 every Sunday. We're located at 7408 Southampton Road between I-20 and Camp Wisdom. And so come out and, worship with us. We're large enough to accommodate you, but we'll never be too big to appreciate you.
Dr. Seamster, I want to thank you for joining us for this community conversation and sharing your journey and what your HBCU is doing. We thank you.
Thank you. Blessings.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.